This strange, bright yellow fruit, the Buddha's hand, is the key.
For this specific bread, we need the structural integrity of the citron's pith, not the juice of the lemon.
The clean yellow Buddha's hand fruits enter a shroud of thick whitewood nitrogen mist. The temperature drops to Megas's 40 degrees.
The pig like rattling rattles it. They rattle like rabbit. This hard stops them from turning to mush.
The freezing step is non-negotiable for high-quality artisanal production, allowing for precise cuts and uniform sizing compared to messy manual chopping.
The cubes are now prepped and ready for the debittering stage, where heat will return.
The raw one resists, the blanched one yields like a firm marshmallow. This texture change is vital for the mouthfeel of the artisanal loaf.
This thermal shock stops the cooking process instantly, preventing the fruit from turning into mush.
This substitution is vital to preserve the texture and prevent fermentation inside the dough later.
This gradual increase in density prevents the fruit from shriveling up, keeping the cubes plump and soft for the biting experience in the bread.
At the end of the line, a shaker table separates any cubes that are stuck together. They bounce vigorously, breaking apart into individual pieces.
We see long, dormant strands of proteins.
This proves the flour is strong enough to withstand the long fermentation process.
The stiff starter dough is passed repeatedly through steel rollers. It transforms from a rough lump into a silky, smooth.
The sweet spot. If it's too acidic, the gluten will shatter. Too basic, and mold risks appear. Perfection is mandatory.
Lux. The bacteria produce the lactic acid responsible for flavor, while the yeast generates the CO2 needed for lift.
The baker pulls the ripe starter apart. It stretches endlessly without breaking, revealing a
This oxygen is vital for the yeast to multiply before the anaerobic fermentation begins.
the window pane test. It expands into a paper-thin, translucent membrane without tearing. This confirms the gluten is fully developed.
Cold cubes of butter are dropped one by one into the churning bowl. They must be cold to create friction without.
The loaded window pane test. We see the translucent membrane holding a heavy chunk of candied fruit suspended in the middle.
The dough is now a finished system: yeast, fat, sugar, and fruit, ready for the long rest that will develop its complex flavor.
The bubble expands, pushing the heavy candied fruit piece upwards. This is the mechanics of the rise.
This slight acidity is crucial. It strengthens the gluten further and preserves the bread naturally.
The difference is clear. In just 12 hours, the sourdough culture has tripled the volume, exactly as targeted by the 3X line.
cycle. Inside the mold, thousands of tiny CO2 bubbles are merging and
You gently press your finger in, and if the dent slowly springs back halfway, like this, it's perfectly proofed and ready for the oven. This visual guide defines quality control. The underproofed loaf is dense and low. The perfect loaf is domed.
The camera focuses on the shiny surface turning matte and dry to the touch. This skin, or pellicina, is essential.
A square pad of cold, high-quality butter is placed into the center of the open cross. The 4 flaps are then folded back over.
Inside the loaf, the starch granules absorb the moisture from melting butter and explode, or gelatinize.
In the first minute, jets of steam blast into the oven. This keeps the crust soft initially, allowing the bread to expand.
The exit